Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my favorite drugstore foundations. I just did a video all about my favorite high-end foundations last week, and this week we're going and taking it back to the real thing and talking about my favorite more affordable ones. And just so you know, I actually do already have a favorite drugstore foundations video. It's a little old. I tried not to mention any foundations in this video that I mentioned in that one. I think there is one exception. These are all foundations that have come out since that one was made, but I still do think all the ones that I talked about in that video are really great as well. So if you need a little bit more information from me on the subject of drugstore foundations, then check that one out. So in my high-end video, I actually talked about primers in that video as well, and I'm just gonna be all the way honest with you guys. I just haven't tried many drugstore primers. Honestly, I can't think of any that I've tried, if I'm just being 1000% honest. If you guys have any recommendations for really outstanding drugstore primers, please let me know so I can expand my horizons and try some new shit. I love when you guys give me recommendations. As I said in my last video, skincare is absolutely everything when it comes to the appearance and performance of your makeup. Your foundation is not meant to fix your skin. It's not going to change it. In some cases, it can exacerbate your existing skin condition. So always make sure you're taking care of that skin to really get the most beautiful, flawless makeup application that you can. Just in, surprising no one, I have tanned palms. Happens every time. If you're new around here, I can't sunless tan my way out of a paper bag, and this is what happens. So let me through it. I need to make that into a ringtone. Before we get started, my necklace is from Target. You guys ask me all the time where I get my jewelry from, and I get most of it from Target, Express, and sometimes Charlotte Russe, but Target. The lip color I'm wearing today is Veronica by Anastasia Beverly Hills, because those are the two questions I get asked the most when I film. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the only foundation that made it into this video that is also in my old drugstore video is the L'Oreal True Match Original Formula. And that's simply because I think that this is one of the best foundations on the market, period. Astronaut. Foundation looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. It has the most gorgeous natural satin finish. It doesn't emphasize any pores or texture. It's a good, solid, medium coverage, and there's about a basquillion shades of this. All their shades are broken up into a neutral, warm, or cool. They also have an extensive shade range just within each of those color families, so anyone can find their shade. I'm completely convinced of it. There's no telling how many times I have repurchased this foundation over the years. In fact, in instances where I've gone a while without using this, when I do pick it back up, I'm completely just bewildered and almost like in awe of how well it performs, because I'll go through a time period where I'm using a lot of high-end, more expensive foundations. I'll slap this bad boy on and I'm just like, why am I even playing like this? This is perfect. This is a great foundation. I love it. They have some other True Match foundations in the line as well. There's True Match Lumi and True Match Lumi Cushion. Spoiler alert, one of those is gonna show up in the video too, but I feel like this is a really good, anyone can wear this, and I'm pretty sure anyone who gets it will like it. This is an all day forever favorite, and like I said, it's the only one that still made the cut for this video 2 years later. So also in the True Match, I gotta switch hands because that one is worse than this one. Oh my gosh, they're both equally as bad. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion. This is the foundation that I'm wearing today actually. I'm being 100% honest, I think this foundation outperforms almost any high-end foundation. I mean, same thing with the other one. I'm gonna say that about all these because that's how I feel. I'm not recommending these to you because they're good to have on a budget. I don't care how much money you have to throw at makeup. These are great products. Anyway, what I love about this one and what I tend to gravitate towards in almost all my foundation formulas that I really, really love are foundations that are extremely pigmented but very, very thin. Because if they're extremely pigmented, you don't need to use a lot of them, and if they're thin, they don't get cakey or gunky, and they're very comfortable on the skin, and that's what this one is. It has one of these situations where you have to kind of take a beauty blender or a brush and you'll dig it out of this little smushy cushion situation. Doesn't bother me, not the end of the world. This foundation is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Typically with a glowy foundation, I've said it before, I can kind of be weird about that and I'll try to steer away from it because I feel like it emphasizes texture on the skin. I don't feel like this one does that. And I also feel like even after I put powder on top of it, you can still see a glow of the foundation through my powder. So it still has this really beautiful, natural, healthy appearance on my skin, even if I put some powder on top of it, which I don't feel like even more high-end dewy foundations don't do that. So I would say 110% if you are dry, pick this up. But if you're anywhere from normal combination to dry, this will be your new best friend in the entire world. If you're oily, I don't know if I would recommend it, but pretty much everyone else, I feel like this could easily be a top 5 favorite for all time foundation. So love it. True match Lumi. Here's one I'm going to recommend you guys that I do not have with me, but I will put a picture of it right here. I don't have it with me because I gave it away. Didn't give it away now because of the foundation, like the way it performs and the way it looks. I gave it away. I'm not going to be able to say that sentence without breaking into a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. So I bequeathed it to one of my friends because it breaks me out. It breaks me out like a son of a bitch. I tried to wear it a good 4 or 5 times before I finally kind of was resigned to the idea that it was 100% this foundation. That is the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect Foundation. This foundation actually reminds me quite a bit, I don't even know if they carry it anymore, I haven't checked to be honest, of a CoverGirl foundation of kind of the same idea. And then I think it was like the CoverGirl 2-in-1 Concealer. It was very, very similar. I think I mentioned it in my last drugstore foundation video. I think where they get off calling it a 2-in-1 foundation and concealer kind of is indicative of how high coverage it is, meaning like you can use it as a foundation and then you can take it and kind of spot treat and use it to cover any little bric-a-brac you have on your face that you want to kind of hide. Milani foundation is gorgeous. It has a really pretty satin finish that kind of dries down a little bit so it's not extremely dewy, and it covers like a dream, let me tell you what. I need a lot of it, and it still helps your skin look like skin, which is my favorite type of formula of foundation, where it doesn't kind of dull it down and make it look dry and crusty. I know that sounds like duh, nobody wants that, but I'm just saying. So the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect is a really good foundation. I would just say if you're super sensitive, you could have issues with breaking out, because I absolutely did. I really tried to make it work. I feel like I was in denial for a little bit about it because I just kept trying it and was hoping it was going to end up being some other thing I was using that was the cause of the breakouts, but it was that foundation. So if I could wear it, I would wear it all the time. It is a beautiful foundation, and again, that is the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect. This is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation. I actually wore this in a tutorial that I filmed recently. I'll link it up here. It was a drugstore or affordable makeup tutorial, and this is a staple I've had in my collection ever since it comes out. I've always got a bottle on hand. I cannot emphasize enough how incredibly life-changing a good matte foundation can be. Emphasis on the good. This is a part of the Maybelline Fit Me line, which I think is kind of like their version of the L'Oreal True Match. So the idea is there's a crap ton of shades of this so that they can fit anyone. Foundation wears incredibly well throughout the day. It doesn't get gunky. It doesn't settle into fine lines or wrinkles. It doesn't emphasize texture. I mean, there's not much to say about it except for if you're looking for a good matte foundation, or if you're the type of person who's never tried a matte foundation, I think this would be a really good one to start with. The finish of it is beautiful. It's definitely got a matte but not flat appearance to it. I love it. I always have it around, like I said. So absolutely, the Maybelline Matte and Poreless was gonna make it into my favorite drugstore foundations video. My last one I'm not gonna say too much about because I did make a whole video about this a couple years ago when it came out, and I'll link it up here somewhere. This is the L'Oreal 24-Hour Wear Infallible Pro Matte Demi Matte Finish Foundation. I remember when this first came out being completely blown away by how freaking beautiful this foundation is. It says demi matte because, once again, it's not that complete, full, flat, chalky matte. It still has a beautiful appearance and a slight sheen to it, so you don't look lifeless and chalky. One tip that I will give you with this foundation is to apply it with a damp beauty blender, because adding a little bit of moisture to the sponge and the way it kind of interacts with the foundation, it just makes the process of it going on the skin just a little bit more beautiful and easy. I do remember one of the things that I thought was kind of a con of this foundation a couple years ago was that there wasn't a whole lot of shade ranges, and when I went to go pick this up recently, I kind of forgot to check and see if that was still the case. So hopefully it's not, and they have expanded the shade range with this because it's a very, very nice foundation. If I had to pick one or the other, I think I would go with this one just because of how good the shade selection is. I do feel like the L'Oreal Infallible is a little bit more high coverage, but kind of the price that you pay for that is that it tends to cling a little bit more heavily to any dry patches that you have. So bear that in mind when trying to make a decision between the two of these. I definitely have repurchased this one the most, but I do love this one. So it's really probably gonna boil down to personal preference for you guys. All right guys, that's the end of my affordable foundations video. I'm sorry it was so short and sweet. Like I said, I just haven't found that many drugstore foundations that I think are truly, truly stand out. And I do believe that these are exceptional products. And as I said in the beginning, not just for the drugstore, in general, I wear these all the time. I wear them like when I'm filming. I wear them when I'm having like a glam night out. I don't see a situation where these are not just as good, if not better, than a lot of more expensive foundations that are out on the market today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure you check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. I think I already said that. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new around here. I will see you guys very, very soon with another video.